Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. America's Got Talent contestants have shocked fans after Judge Howie Mandel uncovered a secret link between them. Viewers tuning into the final round of auditions last night were stunned to realize a hidden connection between two of the contestants. First up, Matt O'Brien, a comedian from Canada, wowed the judges with his hilarious set. Securing 4 yes votes, Matt made it through to the next round. Then, another comic from Canada took to the stage named Julia Lidkowicz. Because both Matt and Julia were comedians and also because of how they both hail from Canada, Howie Mandel asked if the pair had ever crossed paths. "I know Matt a bit because he's my husband," Julia joked. Howie looked stunned, as did the rest of the judges and audience sitting in front of the stage. Matt then ran out to give his wife a kiss. "Now you're competing against each other," Howie said. "Matt is really good, but what if you do better?" he added. Julia had confidence in her own talent and said, "Well, good." Then, within her set, Julia slated her husband with veiled digs about men. "Men snoring is disgusting," she said during her performance. "Men snoring is the patriarchy. You're already asleep. You already won. Why do you have to add a soundtrack to it?" She went on, "Even while you're asleep, part of your subconscious is like, only I may sleep while the women suffer." Reacting to the husband and wife duo, fans went wild on social media. "What? Husband? No way," said one person on X. "Matt and Julia were funny, they were both hilarious," said another. "Matt's wife Julia Lidkowicz is so funny," penned a third. A fourth then declared, "Julia is great. I'd say better than Matt. A Canadian husband and wife comedy duo is just what we needed," said a fifth. "A husband and wife competing against each other, not only they're comics but there's also from Canada," wrote a sixth. And a seventh added, "I wonder if history is going to be made this season, if husband and wife comedians are going to make the top 44. Julia ended up get 4 yes votes, just like her other half. The husband and wife dup met at Toronto's Comedy Bar in 2010. Speaking to NBC Insider, Matt revealed, "I would see her around and of course thought she was an absolute babe, but there's an unwritten rule that comedians shouldn't date each other. After we hung out a few times after shows, I realized we had so much in common, we had such a fun time together, and I figured there was a reason that rule was not written down anywhere, and we decided to give it a go." The America's Got Talent stage has always been a place for surprises, golden buzzers, jaw-dropping acts, and the occasional judge roast. But no one could have predicted what happened during last night's live episode, when Howie Mandel's casual question to two seemingly unrelated contestants uncovered a secret that sent the audience, and viewers at home, into a frenzy. It all started during the second quarter of the live show, when the night's 9th performance was about to take place. The act was a duet called Eclipse and Ember, a young woman named Sophie, whose delicate voice was paired with a haunting violin, and a man named Marcus, a towering beatboxer with an energy that could shake the walls of the theater. Their rehearsal packages had made no mention of any personal history, and most assumed they were just two artists paired together for the competition. After their performance, a unique mashup of Billie Eilish's "When the Party's Over" with an original rap verse, the judges gave their thoughts. Heidi Klum called it the collision of fire and ice, while Simon Cowell praised it as unexpected but genius. But it was Howie Mandel who tilted his head, narrowed his eyes, and asked the question that would change the night's tone entirely. "So," he said, pointing at them with the mic in hand, "you two have an interesting connection, don't you? Something we haven't heard about yet?" The audience murmured. Sophie's face flushed pink, while Marcus shifted awkwardly, glancing at her as though silently asking for permission to answer. Sophie began, then laughed nervously. "We didn't think anyone would notice." Howie, sensing there was more to the story, leaned forward. "Come on, you can't drop that and not explain. What's the deal?" Sophie took a deep breath. "We're actually half-siblings." The crowd gasped so loudly it nearly drowned out Terry Crew's astonished "What?" from backstage. The revelation landed like a thunderclap. Until that moment, their entire AGT narrative had been about musical chemistry, artistic risk-taking, and genre fusion, but no one knew the emotional backstory tying them together. As Sophie explained, she and Marcus had grown up in completely different parts of the country. Sophie was raised in Seattle by her mother, a music teacher. Marcus grew up in Atlanta with his father, a former military man. Neither knew the other existed, until last year, when a DNA ancestry kit revealed they shared the same father. "We didn't believe it at first," Marcus said, his deep voice trembling slightly. "We thought it had to be some kind of mistake. But we started talking online, and we realized we had so many things in common. Music was one of them." They finally met in person only 8 months ago, and within weeks, they were writing songs together. Simon looked floored. "So you've known each other less than a year, and you're already here, performing on the biggest stage in the world?" Sophie nodded, her eyes misting. "It's been surreal. We've been catching up on a lifetime of stories while also trying to make music that means something. Every song we do is, in a way, about making up for lost time." The audience, still buzzing from the revelation, erupted into applause. On social media, hashtags like #AGTSiblingShock and #EclipseAndEmber began trending within minutes. One fan tweeted, "I thought they had chemistry as artists. Turns out it's because they're family." Howie's question deserves its own golden buzzer. Another wrote, "Imagine finding your sibling and making it to the AGT live shows together? This is movie material." Howie, clearly pleased with having sparked the moment, joked, "I'm just saying. If this ends up becoming the biggest viral story of the season, I want credit." But the magic of the moment wasn't just in the reveal, it was in the way Sophie and Marcus chose to follow it up. When Terry Crews asked them backstage how it felt to finally share their secret, Marcus smiled and said, "We wanted the music to speak first. We didn't want people voting for us because of a sob story. We wanted to earn our place. But now, I think it's time people know why our connection feels so real." That authenticity resonated deeply. Fans began sharing their own stories about reconnecting with lost relatives, with many tagging AGT in emotional posts. The show's official Instagram posted a backstage photo of Sophie and Marcus hugging, caption, "More than music. Family forever." For the rest of the night, the atmosphere in the Dolby Theater seemed charged. Even the following acts commented on the moment, with one comedian joking, "I feel like I should check the DNA of my duet partner now." In the press room after the show, Howie was asked what made him dig into their connection in the first place. "It was just a feeling," he said. "The way they looked at each other during rehearsals, there was a warmth and familiarity you don't always see. I didn't know they were siblings, but I knew there was something more there." Sophie and Marcus admitted they had been debating whether or not to reveal their family connection if they made it to the finals. "But Howie kind of took that choice out of our hands," Sophie laughed. "And honestly, I'm glad he did. Now we don't have to hide it." The pair hinted at an emotional song choice for their next performance, one that will likely lean into their newly public story. While they wouldn't name the track, Marcus teased, "Let's just say it's about finding someone you didn't know you were missing." As the credits rolled, viewers couldn't stop talking about the twist. In a season already full of talent, it's rare for something completely unplanned to steal the spotlight. But the night belonged to Eclipse and Ember, the brother-sister duo who not only delivered a stunning performance, but also reminded everyone that sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones we don't see coming. And as for Howie Mandel? Let's just say that, in the words of one viral TikTok edit, never underestimate Howie with a microphone. If you'd like, I can also create a follow-up piece imagining their emotional finale performance after this reveal.